Her voice was steady when she said it, too steady, like someone rehearsing a line they'd already decided would hurt. Only insecure men want monogamy, she told me. There was a laugh beneath it, soft, cruel. The kind of laugh that makes your stomach twist, not because it's loud, but because it's too casual. I remember the clink of her wine glass against the marble counter, the faint reflection of her face in the kitchen window, half lit, half shadowed. She wouldn't meet my eyes, and that was the first sign. I didn't respond. I didn't ask what she meant. I just watched the way she tucked her hair behind her ear like she always did when she lied. Something inside me went still. Not angry, not yet. Still. Like the air before a storm, heavy and waiting. She thought I didn't notice the late-night texts, the locked phone, the sudden solo dinners after work. She thought her beauty was enough camouflage. It was, for a while. But when she said that line, "Only insecure men want monogamy," I realized something. She wasn't just cheating. She was justifying it. And that, somehow, was worse. That night, I smiled. I poured her another drink. I told her I loved her. And while she laughed, I made a quiet promise to myself. To find the truth. To watch without blinking. And when I did, to replace her exactly the way she thought she could replace me. It began small, always does. A text she didn't mean for me to see. A slip of a name. The way she'd silence her phone when I walked in. She said it was work. She said I was paranoid. I almost believed her. Almost. But when you've shared a bed with someone long enough, you start to hear the difference between real sleep and guilt. Guilt breathes differently, shallower, faster, as if afraid of being heard. I started noticing things I never looked for before. A new perfume, too expensive for her taste. An unfamiliar cologne lingering on her jacket. The smell of someone else's life brushing against mine. She was distant. Not in the dramatic way movies show, no slammed doors or screaming matches. Just a quiet erosion. A missing text here, a delayed reply there. And when I reached for her hand one night, she flinched. Tiny, subtle. But it told me everything. I didn't confront her. I didn't shout or accuse. That's what she expected. And I've learned that silence terrifies liars more than anger ever could. So I smiled. I told her she looked beautiful. I let her believe she was winning. But inside, I was documenting every lie, every inconsistency, every time she turned away when I said her name. Love had become an autopsy, and I was dissecting the corpse of what we used to be. I began my investigation quietly. Precision mattered. Her laptop was easy. She never changed her password. Old habits. Trust was her weakness, too. I found nothing obvious. No love letters, no photos. Just a carefully scrubbed history. Too clean. So I dug deeper. Phone bills, email backups, location data from her car's navigation system. There it was. A hotel. Repeated 3 times in 1 month. Always on work nights. Always for 2 hours at a time. My hands didn't shake when I saw it. Just a dull pulse in my temple, slow and rhythmic. Like my body had already known, and my mind was just catching up. I didn't rush to confront her. Instead, I watched patterns form, like cracks in glass. A new necklace, she said, was a gift from a friend. A sudden obsession with her appearance before those so-called meetings. Her reflection in the mirror, practicing smiles. She thought she was untouchable. She thought I was blind. But blindness, I learned, is a choice. One night, when she left for another meeting, I followed. Not close enough to be seen, just enough to confirm what I already knew. Her car parked at that same hotel. She got out. He was waiting. He hugged her like he'd earned it. She kissed him like she'd forgotten I existed. And standing there in the rain, watching them through the windshield, I felt Nothing. No rage, no heartbreak, just a clean, surgical detachment. The kind you feel before making an incision. It took a week to get the evidence. Security footage, credit card records, a neat folder of truth, stacked, labeled, undeniable. I left it on the kitchen table one evening. No note, no words, just the folder. When she came home, she saw it immediately. Her face shifted. Shock, then fear, then defiance. All in seconds. "What is this?" she asked. I didn't answer. I just watched her open it. The papers fluttered in her trembling hands. Receipts, dates, photos, proof that the fairy tale she built on lies had collapsed. Her eyes filled with tears. Not remorse, panic. Because she finally realized I hadn't been the fool she imagined. "You've been spying on me?" she said, voice sharp with desperation. I almost laughed. Spying? As if truth required apology. I looked at her for a long moment and said quietly, "You told me only insecure men want monogamy." "I just wanted honesty," I continued. "You gave me performance." Her mouth opened to respond, but no sound came. The silence stretched between us, thick, suffocating. For the first time, she didn't know what to say. And that was when I knew I'd already won. I didn't yell, didn't accuse, didn't ask why. I simply told her it was over. And I said it like I was giving her a weather report. Calm, certain, unavoidable. Then I did something she didn't expect. I introduced her to her replacement. A woman I'd met weeks earlier. Smart, independent, kind. Everything my wife used to pretend to be. I invited her over that same night. Not out of love, out of closure. The timing was surgical. She arrived just as my wife was packing. The look on my wife's face, priceless. Her voice cracked. "You already moved on?" I smiled. Only insecure men stay where they're not wanted. Her breath caught. The color drained from her face. The line she once used to humiliate me became her noose. She tried to speak, but I turned away. There was nothing left to say. The new woman and I sat in silence while my wife carried the last of her things out the door. The sound of it closing was softer than I expected, almost merciful. People think revenge is loud, explosive, but real revenge is quiet. It's in the way you stop caring, the way you stop bleeding over someone who cut you. Weeks passed. Her messages came, apologies, explanations, self-pity wrapped as closure. I didn't reply. There's a kind of freedom in indifference. It's colder than hate, but cleaner. I still see her sometimes, online, pretending her life is perfect. She posts quotes about self-love and forgiveness. Maybe she believes them. Maybe she doesn't. Doesn't matter. Because every time she looks in the mirror, she'll remember the night I didn't shout, didn't beg, didn't break. I replaced her with silence. And silence is the one thing liars can't stand. She once said, "Only insecure men want monogamy." She was wrong. Only guilty women fear it. She taught me the price of betrayal, and I made sure she paid in full.